That's fun. Can everybody see me and hear me? I'm gonna have my cameraman let me know if any problems arise. You can tell him if you can't hear me. There's a little bit of wind, like every day out here. It's pretty windy. We'll give it a minute or two for people to chime in. We are live right now at the Thermalito Afterbay, just outside of Oroville, California. We're in the middle of an active search for two missing teenage boys that went missing 2 weeks ago today. And I got a lot of questions regarding the search and the length of time spent on the search and the resources. So I figured I would answer some of these questions and give a little update before a scheduled candlelight vigil is going to be held right here in this parking lot at the Monument Hill launching facility, which we are basically on the northwestern corner of the lake. It's a pretty large lake. And actually the wind's dying down just a little bit, but earlier today and earlier in the week, it has been pretty brutal. Lots of rain, lots of wind, which has made the search efforts very difficult. So let me check real quick to see. Okay, you can see the lake there behind me. The area we've been searching, you can't actually see from here. It's actually located on the other side of this dike/bridge right here. But it's even windier over there. This is where they're doing the candlelight vigil tonight, here in about 25 minutes. And so I figured this would be a perfect spot to give some updates. I've got a lot of people reaching out to me from, emails, social media and whatnot. Basically armchair detective kind of stuff. And I understand that. I was one of those before I got here. And once you get to one of these types of searches and get boots on the ground, it's hard to really understand the complexity and the challenges that come with a search of this magnitude. So let me give a brief history. 2 weeks ago on December 14th, a couple of younger gentlemen, two brothers, ages 17 and 19, went duck hunting that morning. And at approximately 8:30 in the morning, one of them, the older brother, made a 911 call. So it was Westley and Andruw Cornett, and the older of the two brothers made a 911 call saying that his younger brother went out to retrieve a duck, and that day the weather got pretty bad. The kayak overturned and he was in distress in the water. So look, the brother called 911 and told what was going on, and then said, I got to get out there and help my brother. And he went after him. And neither of the boys have been seen since. Now, in my eyes, that older brother is a hero for going after his younger brother. And he will always be in my eyes. But it's been 14 days, and we still have not found the two boys in the lake. Now, the first 8 days, the Butte County Sheriff's Department had a very extensive search going on. They had, multiple agencies helping, multiple volunteer commercial dive teams from the local area, from different counties that came to help search for the boys using sonar, search methods, divers in the water, all the usual search techniques that public safety divers and police and law enforcement use. By the time I got here the first round, I was here for 3 days with another team member, Chris. Last week, we spent 3 days on the ground trying to help, and I have never seen a search. I got to commend the local authorities. They did a great job. They had a lot of resources out there, and they did their best until they finally had to call the search off after about 9 days in, due to probably financial reasons and the higher-ups telling them to. So now we're down to just volunteers in the area, volunteer divers and boats and that kind of thing. Let me explain to you the underwater conditions in this lake. What makes it a little complex, this lake isn't very deep, so that helps. It's only It averages about 15 feet deep, and there are some holes that are 20, 25 feet deep, but the visibility is very bad. You've got 2 to 4 feet visibility on a good day, and sometimes it's maybe 12 inches. Also, a shallow lake like that creates a lot of growth in the water due to the sunlight being able to penetrate all the way to the bottom. So you've got a lot of weeds anywhere from 3 feet to 12 feet tall, making the search even that much more challenging. Due to that, sonar does not work all that well. If there's something down in the weeds, you're not really going to be able to see through the weed growth to see what's really on the bottom. So at this point, after a couple weeks of sonar searches and divers in the water, there's even been hard hat divers in the water that have actually found lots of pieces of evidence and clues. That day when the boys went missing, the winds were going due northwest, and it was up to 50-mile-an-hour gusts. So that would be away from basically their last known location where the phone was found and that sort of thing. It's about that particular search area from that point all the way to the other side of the lake is approximately a half mile. And where they've been finding pieces of evidence, jacket, pants, wallet from the boys, is all kind of drawn a fairly straight line going to the other side. That particular search area is about 100 yards wide by a half mile long. So you can see that what we're looking for is basically needles in a haystack. It's not easy. I'm out here now with another, there's basically one other diver, and occasionally we'll get another couple helpers, but it's me and Juan Herita, who owns another nonprofit called Angels Recovery Dive Team. He is out of Stockton, California, and he's been great to work with. Awesome diver, and he's actually taught me a particular search method that we're using, being that these conditions don't allow the textbook versions of normal search patterns underwater. We've had to modify some techniques, and what we're using now, I don't want to go into it, but basically I call it downrigger divers. Basically being pulled along the bottom in patterns and using eyesight and flashlights to see if we can see anything. There's a lot of area to cover, and it's very time consuming, and the weather has to cooperate, and it's not been cooperating the last several days. So we're hopeful now that it's been we're going on day 15 of the search, and due to the temperature of the water, which is about 48 degrees, the boys could surface at any time. So we have a lot of people checking the shoreline. When the weather's nice, we have helicopter support. We've got a lot of volunteer boaters in the area searching the water and searching the shoreline in hopes that the boys will come home soon, or we'll find them and we can get them out of the water. With that being said, a couple things I want to say that the community support down here has been something like I've never seen. There's been a ton of people volunteering their time to help support the family, the parents, April and Henry, and people are providing food. Local establishments are bringing food out for us. I can't thank them enough for their support. That's been amazing. Let's see, what else do I got to read my notes? It's getting dark, sorry. Everybody, so what is our time check now? You can see people are starting to gather behind me for the candlelight vigil, and I have a feeling it's going to be a pretty big turnout. Earlier last week, there was, from any given day, there was in between 200 and 250 people on scene helping with the search. That includes law enforcement and volunteers. So it's been a huge support from the community, and it's amazing to see. And again, I want to thank everybody for your support in helping comfort this family during these challenging and tough times that they have ahead of them. We've got several boaters that have been pretty consistent about coming out and helping every day, but I want to put the call out there. If there's anybody that is in the Northern California area, Redding, Sacramento, Red Bluff, any of those areas, if you can, please, at this point, we are looking for anybody who has time and a boat with sonar or without, or if you're willing to bring a pair of binoculars and walk the shoreline, looking for any sort of evidence that might bring us closer to finding these two boys so we can bring them home, that would be awesome. You can reach out to me personally. You can send an email to nick@OregonRescueDivers.com. You can find me on Facebook. You can also reach out if anybody wants real-time updates as to what's going on. Another good source of information is Gridley Media Group on Facebook. Again, that's Gridley Media Group on Facebook. They've done a really good job of they've been on site every day, giving real-time updates as to where we're at with the search and how's it going, who's where, and what's going on. Trying to think if there's anything else that I can think of. As you can see right now, it's getting dark. We're getting ready for the candlelight vigil. Does anybody got a time check? Lee, do you know what time it is?
17:11.
Okay. Let's see, what else? Does anybody have any questions out there that I might be able to answer? If I can, I will. If I can't, I'll tell you I can't. That's about all I got at this point.
Josh asks, tell us more about the dives and the average depths.
Yes, so the average depths are about 15 feet, but again, the weed growth on the bottom is kind of problematic, to be honest with you. It's a lot of weeds. They're not like super strong. I feel like they're not strong enough that they would hold somebody down forever. Eventually, as a person starts to decompose, eventually they will build gases in them and come to the surface. I do not think that these weeds will hold them down much longer than the normal time. Basically the textbook with these temperatures of water are anywhere from 10 to 14 days. You should start seeing something float to the surface. We are at day 15 now, so hopefully it could start at any time. But again, that's a lot of gray area. There's a lot of variables there. The size of the person, what they ate last. There's a whole lot of other variables that I could go into, but that'll take too much time. The diving is, again, what we're doing is we're using basically a boat captain to help monitor GPS and pull us in dive patterns where we're underwater holding onto a line, looking left and right, and with visibility about 4 feet. It's very challenging. If the weeds get high, you have to inhale to come over the top of them so you don't go barreling through them. And the last couple days we've had some rain on and off, and so it's causing the visibility to go from 4 feet down to 12 inches, back to maybe 2 feet. So it just depends on the area of the lake we're searching, the time of day, and the weather conditions. Tomorrow is supposed to be about like today, not so great, but Monday and Tuesday on the forecast is supposed to be sunny. So hopefully, with that being said, the sunlight will shine down and help lighten it up there so we can see better. And we're just going to keep covering ground as much as we can. I've got my compressor that I brought, and I want to thank everybody thanks to a couple generous donations and some dock work that Oregon Rescue Divers has done in the last year. We were able to buy our own compressor, and it's small enough that we can take on the road with us so that we can be mobile and just keep filling tanks, and we don't have to go find a dive shop, because right here we're about an hour and a half from the nearest dive shop. There's one in Redding. There's also one in Sacramento. But we can basically turn and burn right here on site and just keep going. I also want to thank Kenny and for his generous use of his boat and helping us search every day. And again, Juan and his family and Angels Recovery Dive Team. They've been great to work with, and it's been an honor to work with all the people, honestly, in this entire community to help bring some closure and some answers for this family. Any more questions?
Yes. Have the cadaver dogs been on site? Corey Cooper says maybe a useful resource.
Yes. So as of lately, I have not heard of any. The law enforcement did bring some out early on in the search, and I think that was before I got involved. Was that too early, in my opinion? Possibly. But there was cadaver dogs here. I have not seen any lately. If anybody out there knows of any cadaver dogs in the Northern California area, excuse me, and can bring them here to help us, that would be awesome. Again, you can reach out to me on Facebook, email. You can send me messages on either of those. Hopefully that answers your question. Anything else? Let's see. I'm trying to see. Everybody's gathering right now and lighting the candles up. I don't know if you can see. You can turn around. It might be a little windy. Up there, you can see all these people gathering for the candlelight vigil. We're going to go over there if anybody's out there that is willing to offer prayers or send some good vibes into the universe. At this point, anything will help. And we are just hopeful, and we are not giving up. We're going to keep going until we find these guys. And thanks again, everybody, for your support. And I hope that clarifies some of the questions. If you guys have any more questions or have any ideas that you think might help in our search, please, again, email me, nick@OregonRescueDivers.com. You can find me on Facebook at Nick Wren. Any of those. Sorry, that wind's probably not helping that much. So yeah, that's about all I got. I hope that gives a little bit of an update. Make sure I covered everything on my notes. Yeah, I think I got everything. Is there any, before we go, time for any more questions that we haven't already talked about? Nothing new?
Lots of loves.
Thank you again, everybody, for your support. I have been busy. I should have done some more updates, but I've just been working every day on this. But since I got so many people reaching out with advice and or this, that, or the other, I figured I'd kind of clarify to explain kind of the logistics of this and how difficult this particular search is. It's definitely the most difficult one I've ever been a part of. And it sounds like talking to some of the other local agencies, they've said the same thing. So with any luck, we will be able to bring these boys home soon and help Henry and April get some closure and some answers. So thank you again for everybody for your support. And now I'm going to go join in the candlelight vigil. Thank you. Have a good night.
And say one last question. Any filming being done for YouTube or just getting the work done?
Just getting the work done. Not filming for YouTube. Most of my stuff that I do is too personal for that. This is not looking for a cold case, car in the river or whatever, that type of thing. This is far beyond that. This is body recovery stuff. It's very serious and sometimes dangerous, and you're working very closely with the families during an active search. So this is an update, more like just because I can basically be like a news correspondent on scene. That's why I'm giving you this update, and that's about all I can give you at this time. Hopefully that answers your questions. Again, thanks everyone, and God bless. We'll see you on the next one. Thank you.